I was a family of 7 and we were all very talented. I had 4 sisters and my mum and dad, we shared a big room. In those days, people were poor and they didn't have big houses, so it was 3 bedrooms. And we were on one side, 3 of us, and my dad and my mum were on the other side of the room. And we always had a singing party at night and read comics and to see who was the best singer. We got a little present if we were good and a good singer, chocolates or whatever. But we all ended up being the best singer. And as years went on, a friend of mine, her brother was in a show band and he was a drummer. And they had a girl singer and the girl singer left the band and Grace came to me and she said, our Billy's looking for a singer. So I went and auditioned and got the job. And we were called the Blue Caps. We still
My brother, he's the youngest in our house, and he was born in 1965. And he was born in the front room of our house. And he was born with this lucky cap, they called it. It was skin, and it hung in our bathroom until it died, until it sort of went. Apparently, you had to keep it. So he started off, he's always been sort of lucky, I have to say. But we loved him to bits. There was four girls, so he was the only boy. And during that time, the Seekers were out. The song was out, Morning Town Ride and Rock and Roll and Riding. So we didn't know all the words, but we knew the rock and roll and riding. And we used to, my older sister used to hold Martin, my brother, and we used to dance round and round her. And that's made us so happy. And he brought so much happiness into our house. But to this day, he's a wonderful person, I have to say. And even from that moment, we knew how much joy he brought, and he always has. And he's always been a really good guy. So I love him to bits. I'm going to get a bit emotional here now. But that's my wee one. That's one I remember. Because there wasn't a lot of singing in our house. There wasn't a lot of singing or dancing, you know. There was a lot of rushing going on and a lot of seemed stress at times too, you know. So that was a wee bit of joy.
Doc, I remember those times well. The once-a-week Keeleys, boys down one side, girls on the other. The elders making sure we didn't dance too close. It was always a joy to watch the good dancers, waltzing with a partner, slow and graceful, just gliding along effortlessly. Those were the days when hearts were new, not yet broken, open to the world and to love. Little did we know that these were the smooth times, with many rough times ahead. But these memories ease the pain and take me back.
Here's another week, not too many to go. The buns are hot and the tea does flow. Louise keeps us right with our diary dates. We'll muddle all along. We've made good friends and the work is fun. The words are hard, but we'll get it done. We'll sing our best at the top of our lungs. Let's do it all again.
My very earliest memory is of my grandmother lilting, if you know what that is, you know, while she was nursing the babies. She went on, you know, this kind of thing that you hear when they didn't know the words, they didn't use words. Singing rhythmically without words, I suppose you would call it. But anyway, she used to do that. And then I remember her also singing a song called in the sweet by and by. Haven't heard it for many, many years, but she used to sing that. And I remember my father and the rest of them. I lived on a farm and I had 5 brothers and 1 sister. So there were always plenty of babies about to nurse. But anyway, my father used to sing In the Garden Where the Pretties Grow. And you see, he had the little garden at the side of the house, away from the rest of the farm, where he grew these special potatoes for the family's use, and so on. And of course, when I heard this song, I thought it was referring to our little garden, the garden where the pretties grow. But I discovered later it was a fellow reminiscing about where he had met his future wife, and nothing at all to do with our little vegetable garden. But mostly the old songs like that come back to you. I still remember the words of many of them, although it's a long, long time ago.
My earliest memories are of my mummy and daddy who loved to sing. And our home was a welcome place for relatives and neighbours and friends. And we'd have a sing-song get together regularly, just at the drop of a hat. And this is where my love of old-time music and songs was nurtured. My daddy had a beautiful singing voice, and he would sing all the lovely Irish melodies, like The Old House, The Rose of Tralee, The Last Rose of Summer, I'll Take You Home Again, Kathleen, though my mother was Jenny, Ireland, Mother Ireland, and more. And my mummy would sing as she cooked and baked, and she did the washing. And this is a very vivid memory because the bath was out in the yard, in the backyard. And my mummy would sing, and she had a washboard, and she would really, be singing at the top of her voice. And sometimes we would join in with her, The songs that she sang were very different from my dad's. Her songs told stories. And some were very haunting and sad, and some were very fun and lively. And I still know all of those songs, and if we got together as a family, we would still sing those songs that she would have sang because they were really old-fashioned and really, really funny. So that's my earliest memories, and where all of my love of, old songs and old music was nurtured.
People like to tell me that I'm doing it wrong. My trousers are too short and my hair is too long. My stacked shoes, they will get me through life. Got a handle on my future, it
One of my earliest memories was my father, who was a sort of, you could say, a musician. And he played quite a lot by ear, and he loved to play the piano. And when we were all children, he used to gather us all around the piano, and he would play. And one of the real standout moments for me was he always played this song, and apparently he used to sing it to my mother, and it was Sleeve Them On. And what do you call it? When I was older and had sort of learnt to play the piano myself, he used to get me to accompany him with it on the piano, which is a real standout memory. But the other thing that really, really does stand out big time is he would have had us all around the piano, as I say, playing, and he'd played anything that came into his head. And then when he'd finished, he used to always play like a rebel tune on the piano. He would have played a rebel tune, and then my mother was always giving out to him, "You'll get us thrown out of this place," and all the rest of it. And all. We lived in a mixed housing area, so my father then, he says, "Now we're going to be keeping everybody happy," and he finished it all off with playing the sash. And he says, "That's everybody happy. We can't offend anybody now," you know. And that was my memories.
So basically, tell the examiner what makes music sound good, and then you're supposed to make a piece of music yourself, and then play a piece of music yourself.
Right, well, my first musical memory would be of my mother, Mamie, singing while bathing my baby brother in front of an open fire. And that would have been like 1943. And she sang, "You are my sunshine, my only sunshine." And she also played the piano. And she always started off, her piano piece was, "Happy days are here again. The skies above are clear again." And my father, Jim, he would play the violin. And he would often sing John McCormick's "The Old House." "Gone are the old folk, the house stands deserted, no light at the window, no welcome at the door." And in school on Monday mornings in Rosario Primary School, we listened to the BBC radio programme Singing Together. And we sang Latin masses and traditional hymns in the Holy Rosary Church choir. And the choir had an annual bus run, which usually ended it with a dance in Cushendall Church Hall. And that's where I was asked for my first dance. And the music was down by the riverside. And in those days, that was 1955, but then all the boys stood on one side of the hall, surveying the girls on the other side. And Rosario Boys Club was where we danced regularly to hops, and that was to a record player. Officially, we were only allowed to dance ballroom dancing, but we managed to jive briefly in the corners at the bottom of the small hall.
My mother was born in 1908. Her name was Kathleen, and her mother was Kathleen as well, and I'm Kathleen. And her mother taught her this little song about Dolly. And she said, when you have children, you have to pass this on because it has come down through the generations. So all my sisters all learned this song when they were young, and they taught it to their children. And my daughter, if she came in the door now and asked about the Dolly, she'd be able to recite it to you. It's called Dolly, and it's one day I took my Dolly out for a little run. Across the shiny meadow, I left her in the sun. Her pretty face that melted, the colours they did run. Why did I leave poor Dolly in the sun? Oh, Dolly, please forgive me, I whispered in her ear. I'm really, really sorry if I hurt you, Dolly dear. But Dolly didn't answer. She didn't even frown, for she's the sweetest Dolly in the town. And we all learned that song, and we still sing it to our kids.
One day I took my Dolly out for a little run. Across the shiny meadow, I left her in the sun. Nevertheless, there's only one Teresa. Oh, Dolly, please forgive me, I whispered in her ear. Rockin', rollin', riding. I'm really very sorry if I hurt you, Dolly dear. You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. Her pretty face, it melted, the colours they did run. Wheels on the bus go round and round. Why did I leave poor Dolly in the sun? Good night, Irene. Good night, Irene. Dolly didn't answer. She didn't even frown. For she's the sweetest Dolly in the town. So Irene, good night, Irene. Irene, good night. Good night, Irene. Good night, Irene. I'll see you in my dream. Rolling around in my silver cross, watching the sunset go by. I'm happy to ride in such luxury. Oh my, I can fly. As you sit aloft in your silver cross, watching the people go by. I rattle around close to the ground. In your beauties as I lie. Now as I look back and remember, I know what my granny would say. Be truthful and kind, you won't fall behind. This world will be divided today.
hope you don't mind my giving a bit of context about one of my earliest memories of a song. But when my twin sisters were born, I was only 2. And one of the stories, I don't remember saying this, my mother told me later, that when I saw the 2 babies, I was horrified. And I said to her, not 1 baby, but 2. That's not fair. I apparently was very articulate from a very young age. I did have an older sister and 2 older brothers. So I was in the middle. And I think that was one of the reasons that my mother's brother, who was a widower but had no children, and he used to visit us a lot. And because my younger sisters, the twins, they were always made a fuss of by other people. And of course, within my own family, I mean, I felt secure enough. But it was the fact that my uncle noticed that other people would make a fuss of the twins, and I would be kind of a bit on the side. But when he came to the house, he used to sing to me all the time, nevertheless, there's only one Teresa, and that was one of my earliest memories. But the other one was my father singing to all of us generally. That one, You Are My Sunshine. And again, I loved it. Don't know any of the words other than You Are My Sunshine. I could sing probably about 2 lines of it. But the rest of it escapes me. It's like even the songs that I know well, I probably know only the chorus. No matter how many times I've listened to them, I don't know anything other than that. But one other little story connected with my young sisters. When they were apparently only about 6 months old, and of course they were still being dressed the same and so on. And we had an open fire, but there was always a big fire guard on it. And the fire guard had a top that went right across it, apart from the other bit. And apparently one day, when my mother was in the kitchen doing something, I got one of the twins and put her inside the fire guard, and the fire was lit. Luckily, my mother heard the kind of yell. It must have been the other one and she rushed in, grabbed, I don't know which of the girls it was, got her out. No harm done. And of course, I was forbidden ever to touch the fire guard again.
Or the babies.
But of course, I don't remember ever being anything but kind to my sisters. I absolutely adored them. But, you know, there you are. So that's what the song brought up for me. It reminded me of, you know, that period in my very early life. Thank you for listening.